Now I know it's going to seem like I'm using a ton of ingredients, but I'm really not. I'm going to tell you what I'm using. I'm using a family pack of pork loin chops, and I already have them washed, and they're now currently draining in a colander, and I did trim most of the fat off. I know how a few people feel about touching meat. First of all, you need to get over that, because you know you're going to have to cook one day or another, maybe. I mean, if you're not lazy. But if you still are uncomfortable touching meat, you could always use these Playtex Clean Cuisine gloves. They're disposable. You can find them at Walmart. I didn't use those. I used to when I first started cooking, I'm not going to lie. But I eventually got used to touching meat. And the main thing, you need to learn how to, you know, wash your hands in between washing meat and then move into another step so you won't cross-contaminate things. So besides my pork chops, what I'm going to do, I'm going to also be using garlic salt, onion powder, garlic powder, cornstarch to thicken my gravy, soy sauce, honey, a little bit of basil leaves, worcestershire sauce, Tony Chachere's, chopped green onions. I'm going to be using a few of these sliced vidalia onions. I'm going to cut them a little thinner, of course. These are frozen. I just got them out of my freezer. I'm also going to be using fresh cilantro for garnish. And I'm also going to mince some garlic. So while my meat is draining in the colander, I'm going to go ahead and chop up all of the seasonings that I need to. For example, my garlic, my onions, my green onions are already chopped. And I'm going to cut up a little bit of cilantro. I'm going to mince 6 cloves of garlic because I'm using 10 pork loin chops. So I'm going to start peeling this and mincing it. I'm going to rinse my cloves of garlic that I just peeled in cold water. And I'm going to start mincing that. I'm now going to take my fresh cilantro and I'm going to peel a couple of leaves off of that and rinse it. Well, first I'm going to rinse it. I'm going to take and pick a few leaves off of that to use as my garnish. And I'm also going to be using some green onions as my garnish. These are already pre-sliced. I found them in the produce section at Walmart. So basically you just want to, I don't like measuring stuff in a sense. I mean, because sometimes the seasonings can be inaccurate. So basically I just like to mix stuff to taste. So I'm going to pour some more honey. I didn't put too much soy sauce because, like I said, I don't like Asian food. I don't like that taste. So I just kind of wanted to experiment with bolder flavors. And like I said, you just want to taste it. Now a lot of people like to taste, you know, the actual spoon if they're to cook. Depends on who you're cooking for, that would be unsanitary. But since I'm only cooking for myself and someone else, and I mean, he doesn't really care, I'm just going to kind of taste the knife. I'm not going to lick it because that's gross. I'm just going to take my fingertip and kind of taste it. And it has a really, really good flavor. So I think that's perfect. Because it's kind of sweet and it's kind of tangy from the Worcestershire sauce, but I still don't really taste the soy sauce, which is great. But I can tell it is there. So now I got my wet seasonings to go, good to go. Oh, I'm making a mess. What I'm going to do now is start seasoning with my dry seasonings. Now I'm going to grab a plate and my colander. I don't want my counter to have pork chop juice all over it. That's disgusting. So, and the plate just gives it somewhere to drain the extra water. So first I'm going to open all of the tops of my seasonings because I don't want to have to open anything after I touch the meat because that's cross-contamination and you really want to be careful with that. It can make you really sick. So I'm going to just go ahead and open all of my tops. I'm not using my cornstarch right now. That's strictly to thicken the gravy. Take some garlic powder, sprinkle just a little bit because I'm using garlic, so that's already a bold flavor, so I don't want too much powder. I'm going to take a few basil leaves, just a few, not too many. I'm going to take some onion powder. Like I said, don't measure anything. If you want me to give you measurements, I can try to. Now for onion powder, I like to douse my stuff in onion powder. It gives it such a good flavor. And I love flavorful food. Y'all are going to learn that in my future cooking tutorials. Garlic salt. This is salt, so you want to be really light-handed with this. You don't want to have high blood pressure at an early age. I know I don't, because both of my parents do, so it definitely runs in my family. I'm going to take some Tony Chachere's, which is going to give it that seasoning, that pepper flavor that I like. Like so. Now I'm going to take and hand toss this with my hands. Also, more than likely, the Tony Chachere's is going to make you sneeze. If you have to sneeze, do not do it in your hands. I hope y'all would know that. Do it in your sleeve. I'm then going to take my little mixture and pour over this. Now, probably a colander isn't the best thing to use because it's going to go through the holes, but as long as you mix it before that happens, it should be good. Now, I think I'm going to need more seasoning because it's kind of starting to go away. Now I'm going to take some Crisco pure olive oil and dump into my skillet that I'm going to fry my pork chops in. You can do the pork chops however you want them. You can bake them, you can grill them. I'm going to fry them since it's quicker. Now I've already heated up my skillet in some olive oil. I'm going to take it temporarily off the hole to show you. This is how much olive oil I have in there because I'm also going to be kind of making a little gravy. What I'm going to do now, by the way, my heat is on medium heat, so if you want to have any questions about that. You could also coat these in flour if you wanted to. I think I might put a little. This is Gold Medal Organic All-Purpose Flour. You can find this at your local grocery store. I'm going to take my clean hand and put a little bit of flour. Just sprinkle a little bit. Or maybe a lot. I'm not going to put too much because I don't want it to be too, you know, floury. And now my skillet has gotten hot. I'm going to turn it down a little bit to like low medium heat because I don't want the grease to pop up everywhere, including on my camera. So I'm going to take the first pork chop, slowly put it in the skillet because it's going to pop everywhere. Be prepared. Kind of make sure they're even with the fork in the skillet. I'm going to sprinkle a little more Tony Chachere's over the top. I'm also going to take my vidalia onions, sprinkle those over the top. I also mixed a little bit more of that honey and worcestershire sauce and soy sauce. Kind of pour a little bit on top of the pork chops. Just a little.
You do a cooking tutorial?
Duh. So I have finished my pork chops. I'm so sorry, but I ran out of space on my camera. But basically I'll tell you what I did from the time that my camera just stopped. Basically I just fried them in the little mixture of honey, Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of soy sauce. And I kind of used it as like a gravy. I'll show you the finished product. They came out really, really good. And as they were frying, I actually took a picture of them too on my phone. And I'll insert it. What I did as they were frying, I basically added some onions. Like I was sprinkling onions on top. The green onions and the vidalia onions. I sprinkled that on top while they were frying. And you know, I flipped them over. You can cook them however you want them. They're safe to eat medium well to well done. I mean, you can cook them basically how you want. I kind of did it in between well done and medium well because I didn't want it to be too tough to chew. You could also sprinkle the cilantro at the end. I put a little bit on there. You can't really see it. I put a little bit on there to kind of use it as a garnish on top. I also cooked some rice. If you want me to film a video on how to cook rice, I will do that as well because I do not use a rice cooker. I cook it on the stove. And I also cooked some corn. That's pretty much gone. I was going to do mixed vegetables, but I really didn't have time. But I can show you guys how to cook all of that different stuff. If you have any special requests, please just leave them in the in the comments section, and I will try to get to them in my earliest convenience. Yeah, I basically poured what was left over in a skillet on top of this, and I also cooked a separate batch of honey, Worcestershire sauce, and soy sauce in a separate skillet, and I kind of put that on top to kind of make a gravy that I'm going to eat with the rice. Yeah, it was very good, extremely good, so I definitely recommend you try that. And I'll show my face now, even though I look like a mess. I do have my hair tied back just because I'm in a kitchen. I don't want hair in my food. That's gross. So yeah, I will talk to all of you soon. If you have any questions or any other requests, like I said, leave them in the comment section, and I'll talk to all of you soon. Thanks for watching.